in 2008. So don't wait. Call 855-838-GOLD to get a free gold IRA kit and learn how thousands are diversifying their retirement savings with gold and silver. That's 855-838-GOLD.
We joined the UNES community when our twins were just 4 years old.
We became part of the UNES community for our daughter, and she's not due for 6 months.
Join over 600,000 parents and children that have registered with UNEST by downloading the app today. For a limited time, download the UNEST app and use the code IHEART50 at sign up to receive a $50 bonus when you fund your account. That's code IHEART50 when you sign up at unest.co for a $50 bonus. See terms and conditions at unest.co.
We can all agree that there is no place in our lives for litter. So let's come together and create a litter-free California. Join us at cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans.
You can't get anything passed that would extend anyone's sentence by a single day. And their excuses are nonsense. They're gibberish, they're gobbledygook, they're BS. Absolute cow manure.
John and Ken.
God, I hate how everybody play acts. It's all theater. Even the news media coverage is theater.
Live 1 to 4 p.m. on KFI. And on demand anytime on the iHeartRadio app.
Shannon, KFI AM 640, live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Marla's in for Shannon today.
I'm here. I'm back.
Former President Trump's appearance on CNN was already going to be an eyeball drawer, as they say in TV. You guys say that right? It's going to draw eyeballs.
When I said traffic stopper yesterday.
But this jury finding yesterday, finding him liable for the sexual abuse of writer E. Jean Carroll, is going to up the stakes. So tonight on CNN, let's see, what time does it say? 5 o'clock our time. Moderated by Caitlin Collins. She is a younger anchor and correspondent. She got a pretty strong reputation, actually, for when she was a White House correspondent during the Trump presidency. Being one of the younger ones, but also being credited for challenging the administration while he was president.
And, you know, now she's moved to the morning show on CNN, and that's when she was working with Poppy Harlow and Don Lemon. Sort of got caught up in all of that. So her name's been out there.
Yeah, so it will be interesting to see. She's not been on the show. She's not been on the morning show. I mean, this is a big deal.
She has a huge platform tonight. Huge opportunity.
And I'm rooting for her. I mean, not that I want her to take him down or anything like that. I just hope that I would hate to be in a high pressure situation like she's going to be. I mean, this is a massive endeavor.
I can't even put into words what she must be feeling today. I mean, she's brilliant. She's bright. She knows her stuff. Like you said, she was a White House correspondent. So this is absolutely in her wheelhouse, but just putting myself in her position to have that platform tonight with Trump.
Yeah. Because it's not as easy as saying you're just going to ask questions or allow the audience to ask questions. You have to then rein
your person in. You have to rein Trump in, whomever it is. How do you moderate that? And do so in a professional manner?
Yesterday, right after our show ended, the president was hosting some members of Congress to talk about the debt ceiling, and then afterwards, President Biden and House Speaker Kevin McCarthy made some comments. Let me play this. Give me this one over here, Tyler.
Am I supposed to press a button?
No, not you.
Okay.
Our economy would fall into a significant recession. It would devastate retirement accounts, increase borrowing costs. According to Moody's, nearly 8 million Americans would lose their jobs.
I didn't find progress in this meeting. Staff will continue to meet, and we'll get back together on Friday, and hopefully the president then can change the path of the last 90 seconds.
Yeah, I guess the good news is they're going to meet again on Friday. Joining us to talk more about this, Faith Abube from ABC News live in Washington. First of all, good morning here, good afternoon there, Faith. How are you?
Hey, I'm well. How are you guys?
We're good. This didn't come out, the comments that came out after the meeting were not entirely positive, but we didn't close the door on love. I mean, there is a possibility that Friday they get back together and they do make some progress.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Saying there's a chance.
One thing that I heard yesterday, I was at the White House outside the doors when both sides of the political aisle, the leadership walked out yesterday, and what we heard was the optimism that they are finally actually talking. So that is the major first step, the fact that they even sat down and had this meeting, and then now they're planning to have more. In the meantime, before that Friday meeting happens, actually staff members from both sides are actually talking, and they'll continue talking every day until Friday when the big congressional leaders meet with President Biden one more time. But in the meantime, there's been some name calling on both sides. I mean, a lot of blaming going around. You have Kevin McCarthy blaming the White House, blaming President Biden for not coming to the negotiating table quickly enough. McConnell saying that President Biden wasted 3 months and decided not to negotiate with McCarthy, and now here we are close to that deadline where the Treasury Secretary says it could mean a catastrophic default for the U.S. Then you have the White House and President Biden and Democrats basically continuing to say that McCarthy and Republicans have a gun to the heads of the American people. They are holding the economy hostage, and that they need to actually stop trying to tie the spending cuts to the raising of the debt ceiling. So there's a back and forth that's going on in the public right now, and we're hoping to see if there's any movement when that meeting happens on Friday. But there really hasn't, we haven't really seen any signs since that meeting that they're changing their positions, really.
Faith, this is Marla Tejas here. I'm in for Shannon today. It's nice to talk to you. We just heard McCarthy say that, there was no progress made. But then in remarks that the president made, he opened his remarks with some optimism, saying that we got a little assurance that the Republicans don't want to default. Would you say that this is mixed messaging?
Well, I think yesterday also when the Republican leadership walked out, the press, we repeatedly asked McCarthy whether he could promise on the record that the U.S. would not go into default. He never really answered that question directly. He kept saying that, the Republicans have passed the bill. And so it's now up to the Democrats and the Senate to take it up. However, McConnell did say that he believes that the U.S. has never had a default before, and it's not going to default this time. So we haven't heard those words explicitly from McCarthy at this point, which the Democrats Schumer actually was hammering on this morning as well. So what the president actually also talked about yesterday was this idea of using the 14th Amendment. We have some economists and some constitutional experts who believe that the president has some sort of leeway. There's a clause in the 14th Amendment they believe allows the president to continue issuing debt on behalf of the U.S. And we heard President Biden talk about that yesterday, but he did acknowledge that if he were to go that route and bypass Congress, that it could end in a long litigation. It could be litigated in the courts for a while. So I'm not really sure if that workaround that they're talking about right now would actually come around in time before that debt ceiling deadline that we've heard from the Treasury Secretary. So as of this moment, neither side has budged from their positions. The only olive branch that we sort of are reading into right now is the idea that the White House and Democrats want to talk about spending cuts. However, they just want to do it in a separate bill. They do not want this tied together as one.
You mentioned the timing. Obviously, if they do go the 14th Amendment route, that there wouldn't be time for the legal process to play out before we default. There's also a timing issue with the number of days that Congress is working between now and June 1st. Wouldn't it? And I know that just in terms of their normal schedule, but in the event that we do get some sort of a deal, wouldn't it behoove the majority leader in the Senate and the Speaker in the House to call representatives and senators back together and say, hey, I know you're not supposed to work on this Friday or whatever, but we need to do this and get them back in there. To me, that seems like almost a made up roadblock, is this timing of when Congress is actually working.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, we've seen this happen in the past, right, where Congress is in recess and then they're called back to vote on something. So that would not be unusual if that were to happen. But we heard McCarthy yesterday say basically that they have a 2-week period to reach a deal in order for this to go through before that default. One thing to note is the fact that, the closer we get to a default, it's bad for the U.S. I mean, the consequences are still there for the U.S. We may not get completely to a default, which we don't know at this point. But you'll remember in 2011, during the Obama administration, we had a similar crisis. Republicans really wanted to tie spending cuts to raising the debt ceiling. Eventually, the administration and the Republicans were able to work things out, but they got so close to that deadline that it caused a bit of a crisis. Stocks tanked. The S&P 500 fell. The ratings agency actually downgraded the U.S.'s credit ratings a few days after that deal was reached between the Obama administration and Republicans. So it did cause some issues there, even though there was no official default. There were some consequences that the American people were able to feel after that. And so they're really trying not to get as close to the deadline as they have in other issues. You see Congress wait to the last minute, have a midnight vote or a 3 a.m. vote. That possibly could cause some problems in the U.S. economy if we were to get that close. So hopefully they're able to work something out within the time that they have, that they're supposed to be in session.
Faith, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Faith.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Faith Abube there live in Washington, D.C. To her point, the markets hate uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And as Janet Yellen said early yesterday, we played the soundbite for you, that just even the lead up to a potential default could cause some problems in the market. Right now, the Dow is down 143 points. Both the S&P and NASDAQ are up slightly, just a few points, but they've been relatively calm, despite the fact that there is this looming deadline.
You don't want to hear Yellen using
police reported ahead
the words calamity and catastrophe.
No, I don't want to hear much of her say anything, but I saw her yesterday. Did I tell you that? So I was driving home from Santa Monica. I would get on to Santa Monica Boulevard, I guess it was.
You just turned around and looked out the window.
And I looked out the window, and there's a woman in a tall SUV, and I stared at that woman thinking, what is Janet Yellen doing on the West Side right now? Shouldn't she be
Are you
busy?
serious?
It wasn't her. But it took me a long time to figure that out.
As long as you didn't get into a crash.
The other thing about it is the 14th Amendment covers everything, by the way. Because the 14th Amendment is about citizens who are born here, or people who are born here automatically become citizens. That's an issue that comes up in the 14th Amendment. You have the appointment of representatives. You have the validity of public debt. You have disqualification of office from office for insurrection and things like that. I mean, it's like a catch-all amendment.
In the simplest terms, the 14th Amendment is the Equal Protection Clause, which requires each state to provide equal protection under the law to all people, including all non-citizens within its jurisdiction.
It is I think it's the most challenged constitutional amendment. Anyway, when we come back, we'll hear from E. Jean Carroll after this big decision yesterday in the civil lawsuit against former President Trump.
Jennifer, are you sure it wasn't Janet Yellen?
I'm not sure. I am not sure, but logic tells me it wasn't, but it might have been. Jennifer Jones-Lee is live in the KFI 24-hour newsroom.
We are just getting word that the U.S. Coast Guard is responding to an aircraft crash off the coast of the Channel Islands. It's believed that the airplane has 3 people in it. They're looking at an area about a mile southwest of San Clemente Island right now, and we'll get more information as it becomes available. Standoff in Huntington Park with a man who led police on a short chase has ended after a couple of hours. The LA County Sheriff's Department says deputies ran the car's license plate yesterday and found it was linked to a homicide investigation. The chase ended, and in Huntington Park, the Sheriff's Department says the guy got out. He had 2 knives and eventually threw the knives at deputies. They used less lethal force to arrest him. Hundreds of people are being forced to move out of their high-rise apartments in West LA for safety upgrades. Over 500 tenants have been told by the apartment owners to vacate by September 5th. The owners say they need to install a sprinkler system after having 2 major fires in the complex in the last 10 years. A U.S. Army sergeant who fatally shot an armed man during a Black Lives Matter protest in Texas has been sentenced to 25 years in prison. The state presented dozens of pages of text messages and social media posts yesterday that prosecutors say show Daniel Perry's hostile views of the protests. Tesla has started building a new lithium battery factory in Texas. Elon Musk says the refinery should be able to produce enough lithium to make 1 million EVs by 2025. Musk says the focus on building batteries is a necessary step for Tesla to reach its goals.
It's important to address what we think is a fundamental choke point in the advancement of electric vehicles.
Musk says he wants the factory to be completed by next year and at full production by 2025. Palestinian militants have fired dozens of rockets from the Gaza Strip into Israel in response to Israeli airstrikes that have killed 16 Palestinians. The rockets set off air raid sirens throughout southern Israel and as far away as Tel Aviv. Government figures show consumer prices in the U.S. rose again. In April, prices increased 0.4% from March. From February to March, prices increased 0.1%. ABC's Rebecca Jarvis says overall inflation is down year over year, which could be because of the Fed's interest rate hikes.
It seems that these are starting to work. And at the same time, while they're driving inflation lower, we have not seen cracks in the jobs market yet.
The country's inflation rate has steadily cooled. MTV News is shutting down. It's part of layoffs at MTV and Showtime that will be hitting 25% of employees across several TV companies as they merge. The decision to shut down MTV News comes less than a month after BuzzFeed announced it would eliminate its news division, and Vice Media canceled its Vice News Tonight as part of a broad restructuring. MTV News was 39 years old. And some of what TV fans see on Succession is for sale.
Roman Roy's penthouse on the Upper West Side with panoramic city views shown in this fourth season of Succession is for sale for $38 million. Two other Succession houses are on the market. Kendall Roy's Upper East Side penthouse is listed for $29.5 million, and Roman's townhouse from season 2 is offered at $22.5 million, down from $25. Realtors say they're hoping the tie to Succession will persuade buyers to buy in a sluggish housing market. Until someone buys, Roman's 6-story townhouse with a home theater, private garage, and indoor pool is being rented for $100,000 a month. Amy King, KFI News.
$100,000 a month! SoCal weather from KFI. Partly gray today with highs mid-60s to the low 70s. We'll get more sunshine and warmer temperatures each day as we get into the weekend. And by Saturday, those inland highs could be in the 80s to right at 90. This report is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Right now, it is 61 in Newport Beach, 58 in Fullerton. Jeff Baugh, let's get a look at that drive and another crash, but this one on the 10.
You betcha. Tell you what, though, let's rent that place, Jen. We'll throw a party.
Oh, sure. We make enough cash. We're in radio,
hey,
right?
It's pocket change. You kidding me? All right, this section of the 10 is the San Bernardino Freeway, mind you. If you're new to L.A., you'll get used to this. Same numbers, different names, but it's the eastbound 10 going out towards the 710. Around City Terrace, we had a lane block there. I think it might have cleared by now. It didn't look too serious, but if you're getting some slowing, you're getting away from the 5, that's what it's all about. Now, going the other direction on, this is the 10 again, but this time it's the Santa Monica Freeway. If you're just joining us, still a terrible drive from downtown Los Angeles out to about La Brea. That's where the left lane has been worked on. They're going to be there till about noon. So it's really tough, and it stays that way going out towards Santa Monica. Some good news for Studio City, Valley Village, all that. There was a problem on the transition, a tough place. North 101 Hollywood Freeway to the West 101 Ventura Freeway. The left lane was blocked there. All lanes have been reopened. Slowing is kind of going away, kind of. Jeff Baugh, KFI in the sky.
Are you binge listen this and all your artist stations, plus any song from our library of millions of songs, all ad-free? Get your free 30-day trial of iHeartRadio All Access. You'll love it. Don't be basic, be extra. Start your free 30-day trial of iHeartRadio All Access now.
This week at Safeway, get boneless, skinless chicken breast, $1.49 per pound, member price. Plus, mix and match strawberries, 1 pound, blueberries, red raspberries, or blackberries, 6 ounces. Buy 2, get 2 free, equal or lesser value, member price. Also, mix and match Coca-Cola 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, or 8-pack, 12-ounce bottles. Dasani water, 24-pack, or AHA sparkling water, 8-pack. Selected varieties, buy 2, get 2 free, equal or lesser value, member price. Visit Safeway.com. Download the Safeway Deals and Delivery app, or head into your local Safeway for more great deals.
Some things just can't wait. Like visiting the all-new Sesame Place San Diego theme park. From your child's first coaster ride, to splashy water slides. From the all-new Count's Splash Castle, to moving and grooving with parades and shows. To those unforgettable family moments you won't find anywhere else. It's one amazing place that just can't wait. The all-new Sesame Place San Diego theme park. For best deals and offers, visit SesamePlaceSanDiego.com. Restrictions may apply.
In Santa Clara County, Valley Water's essential workers keep the water flowing. Our dedicated workers manage reservoirs and creeks, operate water treatment plants, ensure we have a water supply, and protect our communities from flooding. We work hard to provide safe, clean water to 2 million people. We're always